Ooh, okay. This came a bit unexpected, but to be honest, I was hoping that we would get another chapter of the flashback before we get back to the present time. Today's chapter was definitely full of surprises and full of reveals and of theories that have been confirmed, and I can't wait to talk about it. Also today, I was too lazy to write a script, so with me today I have a guest to discuss the chapter.
Yeah, I guess when Ohara doesn't write a script, he just pulls in
you're my
some
script.
filler dialogue, which is me,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
So I guess let's jump right into the chapter. Okay, so today we're gonna have like a small double discussion review of the chapter, and I can't wait to talk about what happened. Chapter 973 of One Piece is out, and oh boy, Morj, I think. What do you think? Are you happy that we got a proper second or like a second chance at the flashback this time?
So this part of the flashback, I actually thought that we were gonna get later. You know what I mean? Like at the end of last chapter, I thought that we were gonna just hit back into the present and then get kind of the fill in the blanks of what happened with Momo, Toki, and such. But we kind of got that out of the way, I guess, right here. So I don't know. I think I definitely like the end of the chapter a lot. And the middle part was filling in some of the gaps of what we hadn't seen before. But I thought that it would be kind of more drawn out at a different point. So yeah.
Definitely. It was definitely, again, one of those more fast-paced chapters, but at the same time, I feel there was a lot going on in general there. So we kind of start off with a short mini flashback of Oden's life, basically after his children were born. And we get this insight into his family life, which I think is a really sweet touch by Oda, just giving us like this emotional connection to his family that we kind of glossed over a little bit, while in the flashback we were very much focused on like his relationship to Roger, to Whitebeard, and then like what was happening in Wano. So we never got the chance to see him really interacting with his family. I think that's a fairly important part of the flashback, even like if Oden's already dead, that we get to see this relationship between him and Momo especially, and also Hiyori and Toki. I feel like that definitely had an impact. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, I think for sure having these characters, because Momo and Hiyori, they're both obviously important at the current day, and Oden's flashback was mostly focused on just Oden. Obviously Roger and Whitebeard parts and such, but it was mostly focused on just Oden, with everybody else kind of being peripheral. And I felt like we were gonna get more Momo Hiyori bonding with Oden, but I guess that wasn't as important to Oden's story. But it's good to slip it in here towards the end, because it is gonna be more focused on Momo and Hiyori in the current storyline.
Yes. I also would expect that like we will get more, like now that we've met Oden and like he's an established character, I'm gonna expect that we're gonna, at different points with different characters in the story, get like short flashbacks, like if it's just like a panel or like a couple of pages where it's just gonna be like a short special moments that weren't shown in the flashback that like, but like we can now put into context, like, oh, this happened.
Yeah, I would love that.
While he was on Roger's ship, this was when he was back in. So now we have the context, and then we'll be able to like insert like special moments for individual people later on in the arc. Yeah, so that was definitely really interesting. I also like the small nudges here. For example, Oden kind of like perverting Momo while he's already a kid, which kind of
Momo was like maybe 5 at this point. I'm not
4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah. That's pretty hilarious. And then we have Oden basically asking Hiyori, who's already starting to learn the shamisen, to play that song at his funeral. And I think it's the same song that we see her play when she has the mask on and like cries.
Yeah, I'm surprised, dude. I thought that was actually going to be I thought that there was going to be something like that song was playing or something during Oden's death, or like I don't know. I thought when we got that crying scene back in the Shogun's palace or whatever, that it would tie back in a way, but I guess it's because it was her father's favorite song. So
I would expect so. And yeah, and then obviously we have some interaction also between him and Hiyori later in the chapter. Before that though, we kind of jump back to where the last chapter dropped off, and we kind of see the chase of the samurai running back to the castle, and like Kaido's men chasing behind them. And me personally, I feel like this panel with Kinemon, for some reason, it's really powerful for me. I really like the way it's drawn, illustrated. It has like a lot of like dynamic emotional impact for some reason for me. I don't know if you agree with me here.
You know what it kind of looks like? It looks like I forget. It was when there's like a panel where Odin's running. Oh, it's when he like runs into the Roger Pirates the first time, and like Odin attack. It's because I reread the Odin flashback like a little bit ago to do the video or whatever. Oh yeah, Odin has a move that's like gun something. It depends on the translation you read or whatever. And I don't know. I'd have to go back and compare, but Kinemon's move weirdly looks like Odin's move. Or
Dude,
maybe I'm imagining
I just realized he has 2 swords here. I actually did not realize that when I
Oh yeah, he does have a
when I read it before.
Wait a sec, does Kinemon uses 2 swords, right?
Does he? I think he uses 1, no? Because he has like his fire sword, no?
Yeah, I actually don't remember now. Kinemon, it's been a while since we've seen Kinemon fight. Have we seen Kinemon fight that? I don't remember. I don't know if he has 2
We
swords
definitely saw him like in Punk Hazard, no?
We did see him fight a lot in
saw him
Punk
fight.
Hazard. I think he might have had 2 swords, but I'm not sure.
I would expect so. It's definitely, I feel like it's definitely like no matter what, it's definitely a notch towards Odin, I feel.
Yeah, it would be cool.
So, and yeah, just like in general, like the scene like with Kiku also in the back. I just looked it up and he definitely fights with 1 sword. So this is special, I guess. Like in actually like being a notch towards Odin. Yeah, I it's like small moments like these. I feel like what I really like about like I mean Oda definitely has drawn amazing chapters, obviously, and amazing panels in other arcs. But just like the Japanese like samurai vibe in Wano and like this specific art style where the flames have like these Japanese patterns. I really like this. I feel like it gets a lot across, and then you have this lizard kind of in the top bottom right, like yeah. And like Shinobu,
oh, yeah.
I guess definitely. I still wonder what her development was that she became the person she is today. We meet in the present time from that point, because she seems like she's so devoted to Odin actually, and flees with helps the Scabbards flee, gives them weapons, and like wants to be part of the Kozuki clan. So I really wonder what do you think happened to her that she like developed this fear of weapons and like became like had this change of character.
Oh, the fear of weapons thing in her present day. To be honest, I forgot about that, and now I'm remembering. I thought it was like a gag at the time, but maybe there is something more to it. People do think that Shinobu's was. A lot of people thought that Shinobu was the traitor. But now I think that's kind of ruled out, right? So probably it would be pretty wild if Shinobu is still the traitor. Like, I think really, really wild. So I can't really tell. I think Shinobu in the current day, the one standout moment of her character was the argument she had with Law, which is put in a lot more perspective now that we saw, her entire past and everything like that.
Certainly, especially since they already knew there was a traitor back then. Like, so it's not a concept that Shinobu just came up with. Like, it apparently has really taken a toll on her that someone apparently betrayed them before. And it's actually what Inuarashi and Nekomamushi talk about right in the next scene.
Dude, the Inuarashi...
they basically have...
Yeah, the Inuarashi... Yeah. Can I ask you about this? Inuarashi and Nekomamushi... I didn't understand this, and maybe the Viz translation would clear it up more. But what are they talking about here? You know what they mean? Like, I know that they had a big disagreement between themselves, right? That's been made clear since the Zou arc. I don't know what they're talking... I remember that during the Odin boiling scene, they were arguing with each other like a little bit over something, and I haven't had the chance to go back and read that. But I don't understand how that plays into the scene or what they were even arguing about at that time. Do you get it?
So I personally just took it as both of them being so triggered by Odin's death. Like, I feel like we're all seeing each of the Scabbards dealing very differently with this death. So Kinemon like taking on the like just pure grief and like taking on the task to protect Momo and like going into the future. Then we have obviously later in the chapter Denjiro, which I'm looking forward to talking about. And I guess like Inuarashi and Nekomamushi, like I personally took it as both of them just being so hurt by that fact that like they translate these emotions towards each other, and they kind of like look for someone to blame in a way. So they do it on each other. But like there might also have been like something that actually triggered this. But
yeah, I kind of want to see
why
that. Because what is this?
Why would only...
What's the Nekomamushi line? It says like, you airhead, it's a bit suspicious of you to worry about. I don't get what that line means.
Right. And I think both of them both of them accuse each other basically of like being responsible. I personally didn't make too much of it. I just feel like both of them use that as a vent to like let their emotions out, but there might be more to it. So I think the official translation will clear that up.
Yeah, because to me, I remember like Inuarashi and Nekomamushi like hated each other over the course, like once they came back to Zou or whatever from what like they had developed like a great hatred for each other. So I don't know if this is the incident or whatever, but I don't understand. Like, if that's the incident, like, why don't they hate each of the other scabbards then? Why is it towards each other? Like, I want some clarification here. I hope the Viz clears that up. Or this isn't the incident.
That is a very good point.
So, what's the next stuff? Oh, these are the numbers, right?
Yes, I think it's just one of the numbers.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like one of those panels we have seen. And now I'm even more hyped for them because with the numbers, I'm still so excited because they looked so badass in the first panel we got introduced to them. And I was a bit skeptical because I was thinking, oh, well, the silhouettes might look super dope, but in the end, like, they might look a bit goofy, you know, like Queen or something. But
that's still possible,
even if
it is,
very, to be fair, it's still very possible. But I just already, like, even if they look goofy, I just like the size of them. Like, getting like the scale here, like that looks pretty intimidating. And I don't know, I guess you could make it weird in a way, I guess. But yeah, I'm just curious how they look like, to be honest. And what I'm a bit confused about, I personally thought that that Denjiro and Shutenmaru would actually fight against Kaido, but they seem to just fight against everyone, like all of Kaido's men, kind of.
Yeah, but Kaido must have shown up at some point or something along those lines based on what we saw, that image.
Yeah.
Shoot. Okay, I am a little short on time now. Let's speed run a little bit or something. Or we can get partway through and then I can check out at a certain point.
Yeah, sure. No.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, the story from here kind of goes on in the same direction as we already had a general grasp of anyway. So the Kaido and his men surround the castle. I really like the scene between Kaido and Momo. I feel it at the same time it shows Kaido's respect for Oden, but at the same time he also has like this resolution to tear down the Kozuki clan. And I think it's really interesting that he doesn't kill Momo right there, but like throws him back into the castle. What's your thought on that?
I thought that was interesting. I want to see more of Kaido to kind of get the concept behind it, because it's like everything he says is still, you know, derogatory towards Oden, but then at the same time he clearly doesn't kill Momo.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's part
he says he wants to eradicate.
Yeah, I mean, he says a dream. You really are a child. So that makes me wonder, like, what is the part of it that's making Kaido not kill him? Is it the Oden part? Like, the fact that he did have respect for Oden? Or is it the realization that there's a dream involved or something like that? Like, there's a few different ways. I think once we get more insight into Kaido's character, we'll kind of get it.
Definitely. And I would say that it's definitely already a first hint at, like, some of Kaido's values and ideals that will probably get revealed a little bit later on.
Also, Kaido looks really cool in these panels, by the way.
He definitely
Kaido is one of the coolest designs in One Piece by far.
Yeah.
Should
we jump?
Yep.
Oh, you gotta pop out? That's fine.
No, I'm saying, like,
okay.
we can move. Do you have anything to say about this next part of it?
I don't really. Like, we see Toki leaving the cat. She sends the others to the future. She gives the prophecy to the people. And I personally, like, while we don't see her actually die, it is implied that she's being shot by one of Kaido's men, as far as I took it, no?
Shoot, let me see.
So we see she's giving the
arrows?
prophecy, and we...
Is it the arrows?
I think... So she gives the prophecy, and she says, "May your wish come true." And then we see one of Kaido's men loading his gun.
Oh, I see. Right there. Yep.
And so, like, the panel where we see her face, it looks like she's being hit by a bullet.
Oh, I see what you're saying. And I don't know there's probably a sound effect or whatever right there that I can't read. Can you read it?
It's Don.
Oh, so, damn it. That's so generic. Okay, like, as in it doesn't give
that
us
might be
any clue
anything.
or whatever. I thought that she had said... okay, I kind of want to read the Viz translation of her prophecy again. Because the prophecy is interesting, and it seems like it's directed towards... I don't know, I read it differently the first time that I read it in the... the first time we heard Kyoshiro say it, like, way back towards the beginning of Wano or whatever.
Yes.
I like the scene with the
Definitely.
Orochi.
Yeah, that's very interesting, though.
Cool
like
little scene
with the
for
hot
Orochi.
water. Like, do you feel this is like something a bit more supernatural that gives a nod to his like physical, like to his physique, or is it just Oda trying to make a point that he's so afraid?
No, I prefer it
of
as
the samurai.
I prefer it as a character thing, and like him like the boiling hot water and stuff, like right after Odin's everything. Like I don't know, I actually really like this little scene, and it's a little more of a. I don't know, like a bit more like other than the times that he said like I'm scared, spooked by this. Like we've seen a lot of Orochi's character and stuff, but this is like a more like interesting way to show it. Kind of like I think this was like a good little few panels for him.
100%.
Yeah. We see Ashura Doji. We see. We kind of.
Kawamatsu and Hiyori.
Yeah, this is kind of filling in gaps of stuff that we've known before. Then we get to the cool scene, which is
the really cool scene, which is the reveal that I personally did not expect. I was like arguing against that for a long time, but it turns out that Denjiro actually is Kyoshiro. So I did not see that coming really. I thought it didn't make too much sense in my opinion.
Dude, I think
but here it is.
It makes sense in the sense that like okay, it'll make sense once we kind of see more of the Kyoshiro side of the once we see more of Kyoshiro in the current story, I guess, and we know Komurasaki survived him cutting her and stuff like that. So there's that. Then the Denjiro Kyoshiro, there was the option of Denjiro being Zoro's master or Denjiro being Kyoshiro. That I think were the two that were being thrown around. Sorry.
Or he could have been dead as well.
Or he could have been dead. Yeah, there's a lot. I personally think this is the more interesting route. I'll elaborate on that, I guess, in the Wano report. But then, that we'll do later this weekend, I guess. I'll just elaborate on it then. But I do think this was the more interesting route to go. And it makes sense in hindsight, I guess, because Denjiro throughout... Because I did just reread the Odin flashback, so I saw more stuff of it. Denjiro... From the start, he was the money guy. He's he's the one who's on Odin about collecting money. Then later on, he was the one who was going throughout Wano trying to collect money for Odin. He was always Odin's treasurer, and now Kyoshiro's Orochi's treasurer. So the foreshadowing or whatever has always been there.
100%. And I mean, it basically confirms two theories at the same time. Kyoshiro being Denjiro, but also Kyoshiro being the witching hour.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Oda went why not both?
I really like that. Because him being Kyoshiro is its own, people guessed it. But, him being the witching hour boy and Kyoshiro, that's a cool combination, I think.
Yeah, it is a really cool combination. And I think it's just, I mean, like you said, it's definitely worth elaborating on that more once we have the official translation and once we do the podcast to have more time on elaborating on it. But in general, the emotions we get from Kyoshiro, and it's basically already revealed that he did stay a good guy all this time.
Yes.
And so this makes it, while it definitely would have been interesting to keep up that suspense longer, in my opinion, at the same time, it also speaks so much for his character that he was able to put up that facade for such a long time.
Yes. Oh, and last,
so this is
super, super interesting. The fact that I think all of Orochi's men have gone off to, Onigashima.
His side?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, in current day, they're all off in Onigashima, and Kyoshiro's the only one who's still in the capital or whatever. So that just makes the group's situation so much easier.
And I feel at this point, it also... Because we've been talking a lot about how the hell are Luffy and the samurai gonna take on two Yonko and the Shogun with his man. But I do feel if there is one person working for Luffy and the good guys that has been had literally 20 years to set up something from the inside and prepare, that might definitely Denjiro might be the person that makes a cutting edge difference in this fight in one way or the other.
I like that. It's a good very good wordplay. All right, I'm gonna have to call it for this review.
Yes. Thanks so much for dropping by. We're gonna extend all on this in the Wano report. It's gonna drop on Monday, so look out for that. We're gonna have Croft's Dwarf on as a guest. So I know a couple of you guys have been looking forward to that. Make sure to tune into that to get a bit of an extended review of the chapter. Next week, we're going to do the normal one person with scripted version, but I still enjoyed a lot talking this through with you anyway. Morj, thanks a lot for dropping by as always. Thanks so much, guys, as always. Don't forget to check out Mr. Morj if you haven't yet. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments below. As always, make sure to like and share this video and hit that subscribe button. But of course, as always, you can also not share, dislike, and unsubscribe. It's a free world, people. I hope to see you guys next time, and until then, have a wonderful week.